What is going on, guys? This is the OG Hoenn Champ here, and today I'm bringing you a team builder for our Week 2 battle in the GSL, the greatest showdown league ever, where your Niagara Metagross will be taking on, what's his name? We'll be taking on the London Loudred, there we go, and Coach Thunderflight. So, I'll actually just show you real quick. We did pull out a win against the Kentucky Tentacruels last week against his very focused team, I guess is the best way of putting it. Very focused on setting up that field in a way that would really advantage him. And we almost lost, but definitely was able to pull through at the end with the help of Ditto and Landorus. Without further ado, let's get into the team builder for this battle, and I'm going to try to keep it a little shorter. I realize I tend to ramble a lot, and these things can go up to 30 minutes. My goal is for like 20 minutes or less if I can help it. So I'm going to try to go through these a little faster. So the first thing to notice, well, actually Thunder lost his first match to the Don fans. So that's definitely... it's a good chance to look at his play style, which is something that I've definitely done. So let's just go through his team. First off is Hoopa Unbound. This thing can really be a monstrous attacker if you let it either first of all set up, or you don't bring a check to it. The good thing about Hoopa is that it's slow and also 4 times weak to bug. So U-turn wrecks it, Bug Buzz destroys it. Really any sort of really strong physical hit, like from even Weavile, knockoff would probably one-shot it, because its physical defense is pretty bad. So yeah, he hasn't brought it yet, but there's definitely a chance he will bring it this week. Next up is Magearna. Probably one of the scariest Pokemon in his team, not because of its speed or anything, because it's definitely, again, another slow Pokemon. Just because of its typing. I mean, Fairy and Steel makes it only weak to fire and ground, I believe. Both of which I don't have very reliable options for. But definitely I am prepared for this thing. Unfortunately, if you bring a Scarf Magearna with Soul Heart, I really only have 1 or 2 options to beat it. But you'll see what I've brought for it. And I'll explain why it can beat a Scarf Magearna. Next up is Kyurem Black, one of the Pokemon I'm actually using in my other league. This thing, again, his first 3 picks are just all offense. Physical, special, and mixed. Physical, special, and mixed. Even though Kyurem B and Hoopa U can both be special attackers as well, they're generally run as physical. Well, actually, Hoopa is run either way. It doesn't really make much of a difference usually. But yeah, Kyurem Black... Outrage hits like a truck if you don't have anything to resist it. Bolt Strike and stuff like Brutal Swing, Ice Beam, Earth Power, Psychic, Focus Blast for coverage. I think it has Stone Edge too, Brick Break. Just a lot of different options. You can also run Hone Claws and Roost, or what's the other move that it gets? Substitute. You can run a substitute set with it as well, which can be pretty scary, especially if it gets web support from the next Pokemon in his team, Galvantula. Galvantula is a Pokemon I do think he's gonna bring, just because those webs are so useful against my team, especially considering that his major offensive threats are not as fast as they could be. Galvantula will really patch that up with sticky webs, so I gotta make sure those webs stay off the field at all costs. Also a pretty decent special attacker as well. But I do think that I can beat this thing. Almost certainly. And I do have ways of keeping Stealth Rocks off the field. Stealth Rock and Sticky Web. So Stealth Rock from Donphan, which is his next Pokemon. So yeah, Donphan, another Pokemon I have in my other league, and as you guys know, really solid rock setter. Very good at keeping certain threats off the field. while being able to Rapid Spin and Earthquake or Fire Fang or Stone Edge or Knockoff. Just do a whole ton of different things, and this thing can be really scary if you let it run around unchecked. You can even run Toxic if it wants to be more of a status-y set. So yeah. Next up is Jellicent. This is one Pokemon I think almost for sure he's going to bring, because after looking at like this, if Donphan is weakened and if what's the other one? If Donphan is weakened and like a couple other things have taken entry hazard damage, Heatran kind of just sweeps through the team, except for Jellicent. Jellicent is a great response to Heatran, so I definitely think he's going to bring it. He brought it last week, and it did so well for him. I don't think he's going to pass up the opportunity to do it again. And just in terms of type effectiveness, it does really well, especially if it runs Ice Beam against all my sets. So like Ice Beam and Scald basically cover most of my team, except for Suicune, but he might run Toxic and recover for that. Definitely a possibility. So gotta watch out for that. Next up is Infernape, fantastic physical or special attacker, another potential rock setter. Also can set up with either Sword Stance or Nasty Plot, I believe. So Infernape, one of those really unpredictable Pokemon that you just kind of have to hope that you plan for it right, or prepare for all of it. But it gets so much coverage and so many different options that Infernape's just very, very hard to prepare for. I think it's definitely a good possibility he'll bring it. I think he'll bring the Infernape. Between the three actually rock setters, I think I'll bring two of them. Well, okay. Between Donphan, Infernape, and Gigalith, I think he's either gonna bring one of the either Donphan or Gigalith and Infernape. So he'll bring one combination of them. So yeah, and anyway, on to the next Pokemon on that train of thought. Next up is Gigalith. I mean, this thing got Sandstream in this new generation, so that's definitely a really cool thing that it has now. Which actually allows it to set up with a Stoutland, which he also has now. It's weird, I'm facing two Sand teams in a row in the same league, so yeah, there's that. But yeah, also has really nice attack and defense in its own right. I mean, most of my Pokemon on my team are not gonna like taking a ban. If he decides to run Bandit or even unboosted, they're not gonna like to take an unboosted Stone Edge from this thing. That would just hurt really, really hard. But yeah, Gigalith in all other forms is not the scariest Pokemon ever. He might bring it. It does do very well against my team. But things like Suicune, things like Rainiclus can really beat it out. And then things like Landorus and even Heatran can have the potential to one-shot it. And I don't think he wants Ditto copying it. Just because it does get a nice special defense boost as well from the sand. And even Amoonguss walls it out pretty well. So I don't know if he's going to bring it. He might. It's a possibility. I don't think he will. Next up is Silvally. A Pokemon I think really has a lot of potential in this gen, but I haven't seen used too much. And the main reason I think it's very good is because of Parting Shot. It's pretty much a weaker Arceus with all the plates and stuff, and doesn't get Extreme Speed. It doesn't get Sword Stance though. Base 95 stats all around. The only thing that differentiates her from type Null in that sense is 95 speed. It has the ability to be any type. Its ability multi-hit, I think. It changes type based on what drive it's holding. So that's definitely something to watch out for. It brings a lot of versatility to his team. Again, Parting Shot swapping out is really nice. Now it's not only limited to Pangoro anymore. Also gets access to Thunder Wave and Toxic and that sort of thing. So definitely a Pokemon to watch out for. I don't know if he'll bring it. It seems a little bit underpowered compared to the rest of the league, but definitely still a possibility because Parting Shot's very annoying. Next up is Stoutland. This thing I have a feeling he's mainly going to bring when he brings Gigalith. just because it benefits so much from Sand Rush. I mean, Stoutland already has such a nice attack stat already, and with Choice Band, Sand Rush, it just gets boosted to incredible levels. Or if you need to switch attacks, Life Orb is an option too. He brought it last week. It did very well for him. I don't know if he'll bring it this week. It doesn't have the greatest matchup, especially with Landers floating around with the Intimidate and being locked into a move, and then potentially copied by the Ditto. I don't think it's something that's very desirable to him. So yeah. Next up is Gothitelle. Really great trapper, psychic type. Has also some options in substitute, Calm Mind, Thunderbolt, Psyshock, Psychic, and Shadow Ball, which is really all the coverage it needs. Really great for trapping Pokemon in that it feels like it can kill. Not the greatest against my team unless he's really scared of the Hitmonlee, in which case this thing is a great response to Hitmonlee. But I don't think he'll bring it. Actually, he might bring it to deal with the Amoonguss, because it's another great response to Amoonguss as well. Especially not being able to switch out. So yeah, he might bring it. I personally don't think he will, per se. And last but not last, actually and probably least, is Shiftry. I mean, this thing just has a horrible matchup against my team. The only thing it really matches up well against is the Reuniclus, and maybe the Suicune. But in all honesty, this thing just can't do too much to my team as a whole. I mean, it stabs, get resisted for the most part. It can get one-shot by anything from the Thundurus to the Scizor, and it just really doesn't fare well. I don't think he's going to bring it. I think he will bring Magearna. I think he will bring Galvantula. I think he will bring either Donphan or Gigalith. So that's 3. I think he'll bring Infernape and Jellicent. So that's 4, 5. And if he brings Gigalith, I think he'll bring Stoutland. If he doesn't bring Gigalith and brings Donphan instead, I think he'll bring Gothitelle. So that's my prediction for his team. Let's get into the team that I've actually prepared for him. And these guys do not have nicknames yet, so I apologize for that. But I will have nicknames by the time the battle comes out. So we have Heatran with Choice Scarf, Weavile with Groundium Z, we have Landers Therian at Leftovers, Scizor also with Leftovers, Thundurus Therian with the Choice Specs, and Ditto with the Choice Scarf. So let's go through these sets. Yes, I am running 2 Scarfers. I just really had to bring Scarf Heatran this week. I mean, it does so much work against the Magearna, first of all, which is his biggest threat against my team. Against the Kyurem Black, which is another huge threat. Deals really well with the Galvantula and the Donphan. Just annihilates the Infernape. Really hurts the Gigalith if I have some damage on it already. Silvally can't really touch me. And Shiftry would get annihilated by this as well. Honestly, just an incredible revenge killer. Fire Blast, Flash Cannon, Earth Power, and I actually am running Toxic on this set to really cripple that Jellicent if it switches in on me. It'll definitely take a little bit of playing around in mind games, but I definitely think I can make this set work this week. Next on to another Pokemon that really runs through his team is Weavile. Now, just like Heatran, Weavile also has a major check in Magearna, which is really why I think he's going to bring it. But I have a solution for that. Even if he's running max health Magearna, no one in their right mind runs max defense. And if I get a knockoff and he switches into Magearna, first of all, that Scarf is knocked off, so I don't even need to worry about that. And then I go for the Z-Dig. Who runs Z-Dig on Weavile? Nobody. He won't be expecting this. Z-Dig is my main option to take care of that Magearna if it decides to switch into a knockoff on Weavile, which is my main move that I'm going to be going for. X-Scissor is mainly for the Hoopa. Ice Punch deals really well with the Donphan, with the Kyurem, with the Stoutland too. Knockoff really hits everything else really hard. The Galvantula, Jellicent, it basically annihilates. Hits Infernape really hard. And yeah, the only other thing that really kind of walls this set out is Gigalith, but Gigalith does take a ton of damage from Knockoff and Ice Punch. So yeah, there is always that. And yeah, I'm running Jolly, Max Attack. This thing actually does outspeed a max speed Choice Scarf Magearna naturally anyway, so if he switches that thing in trying to revenge kill me, he won't be able to. And I will kill it with the Z-Dig. Next up is Landorus Therian with the leftovers. This is going to be a more defensive set this week. I thought about running Rocky Helmet, but I really just wanted the recovery in order to deal with hits from things like the Jellicent, from things like the Magearna, if he decides to bring it, and even from the Donphan, because I don't think, if he's running max defense Donphan, I don't think he's going to be able to take me out with an Ice Shard, especially after an Intimidate. So, Stealth Rock, my main form of hazards for this team. If I can get it up and keep hazards off my side of the field, I will be probably golden. Earthquake deals with so many of his Pokemon really nicely. Knockoff, just for general utility and getting items off things. Also does a fair amount of damage to the Jellicent, which would otherwise wall me out really well. And Toxic. And Toxic is mainly to deal with things like the Donphan that might think they're safe to switch in. For things like the Jellicent, if he wants to bring that in too. So yeah, Toxic is just a really nice utility move. I don't think I'll be bringing it that much. Sorry, I don't think I'll be using it that much unless I'm certain that he'll switch into something. But definitely a move that I think was very helpful on this thing. Next up is Scissor, a new addition to my team, bringing a sort of mixed up set this week. This thing is meant to keep webs off the field. I need to keep webs off the field. And also is one of my range responses to Hoopa and Kyurem. And being in that it really... the way that the EVs are set up here, it doesn't take too much damage from their attacks, meanwhile being able to deal massive amounts in return. So yeah, I'm running U-Turn to deal with the Hoopa, Bullet Punch to hit the Magearna actually pretty hard, the Kyurem pretty hard, and also things like the Shift Tree hit the Gothitelle pretty hard. Oh, I'm sorry guys, I need to get a little more sleep. The only thing is that the Jellicent really walls this set out, but Scissor's not meant to stay in. It's meant to get rid of stuff and switch out. That's the main reason for this set. Also, I want to switch this thing into hopefully Revenge Kill Hoopa if I can. If I don't already do that. Next up is Thundurus Therian. And yeah, this thing just hits so incredibly hard. Running choice specs this week. Thunderbolt, U-Turn, Hidden Power Ice, and Flash Cannon. I'm not bringing Volt Switch for two reasons. One, U-Turn hits the Hoopa so much harder. And two, if I try to Volt Switch and he switches into Donphan, that's free Stealth Rocks for him, and I don't want that. So it's a good thing this thing gets U-Turn also, so that I have two options. And just in general, U-Turn hits things a little bit harder, even with timid nature. Yeah, but Hidden Power Ice is for the Donphan. And Flash Cannon is to hit that Kyurem a lot harder. As well as hitting things like the Donphan pretty hard as well. Hits the Gigalith a lot harder as well. And last but not least, certainly is Ditto. I love running this thing. And also, I didn't really know what else I was going to bring. I was thinking about bringing Hitmonlee because it does really well. Especially the Fake Out and Burden set. Reckless High Jump Kick. Plus Knockoff, plus Earthquake. Just does so much against his team. But I didn't really think it was... He has too many things that could force a switch on me. And losing that Unburden boost would be terrible. So I decided to bring Ditto instead. Possibly be able to copy the Magearna. Be able to copy the Hoopa. Or the Kyurem. And thus Revenge Kill them. This is another reason why I need to keep hazards off the field. Because Choice Scarf will mean nothing if webs are up. Because then I'll just have the same speed stat. Actually, I think a point lower speed stat than the other Pokemon. Which is really unfortunate. I don't want that to happen. So yeah. So guys, that is my team for this week. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like down below and comment what you think of the battle, or what you think it's gonna be like. So anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.